Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
Morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is now 8 a.m. You're listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. I hope that you guys are all doing good on this Wednesday. It is the 8th of January. It's a nice day outside. The weather's not that bad. It's a little bit warmer than it has been traditionally. So I think that this will be a good rest of the week. I've been looking at the temps, and we see a lot of 4s in there, and that's not -4 or 0.4. That's like 40-plus degrees, so things have been feeling really good. We have a lot of news for you guys today, and I hope that wherever you're at, if you're driving into work or if you're working from home at your office and everything, that you guys are doing good and blessed and happy. Gabriel, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great, feeling that midweek, like ready for the weekends. I know what we call Thursday, like the pre-kends, because it's like the pre-weekends, so I'm kind of excited.
Nice. So we have got a couple of pieces of brand new stuff for you. We're going to talk about Java Jams this morning, and then got news from State Representative Maura Hirschauer's office about child care, education, and environmental policy. I got news on a good report that was written about the first ever Mr. and Mrs. Black Aurora pageant. And then more than $1 million in grants for social service agencies. So some of these people, or these agencies rather, may have gotten may have been approved for this last year, but now they're just starting to have the funds dispersed to them. So if you hear anything about, hey, that's I know that organization, or yeah, we did apply for that, we received that, well, good news to you. William Miller III is here. Good morning to you, my dear friend. Jennifer Ryan Mayton is here as well. Good morning to you. Hope that all of you guys are doing good. William Miller III, man, we got to get together. I haven't seen you in a while. Let's go out, man. Let a brother take you out for a beer sometime soon. All right, so our friends of the Road Home program have been giving us a good amount, or letting us know about a good amount of veterans initiatives and new things happening specifically for the veterans community. Now, a lot of the things that you'll hear about, remember the Road Home program, is out of Rush University, which is in Chicago, Illinois. So we've been telling you guys about a lot of the Chicago initiatives going on. Keep in mind, you can take part in any and all of them. So just because it's happening in Chicago, if you're a veteran, please feel free to join. Also, these are open to the families of veterans as well. There's a great newsletter that's out. It's called Vet Pride, and it's from the American Veterans for Equal Rights. It's Chicago, Illinois chapter. So one of the things that's going on in here is something called the Veterans Coffee Social. Build your own social support system with veterans in your community to improve and maintain your overall mental health. Veterans Coffee Socials enhance communication and foster bonds among veterans and others in the community. They are a place to meet friends, find resources, and have fun with other veterans and community members. In Chicago, you can check out the Blue Door Neighborhood Center. That is located at 2551 West Cermak Road in Chicago. There's free parking, and it's CTA accessible. And if I'm not mistaken, that is right off, or not right off, but I think that's close to a Blue Line stop up there. If I'm not mistaken, that's what's that stop? Damon on the Blue Line? Somebody, if you're in Chicago, let me know about that. 2551 West Cermak Road is your address. Now, the monthly in-person AVER meetings, and again, AVER stands for the American Veterans for Equal Rights. Their monthly meetings, they meet on the first Thursdays at 7 o'clock p.m. at the Center on Halsted. Everyone is welcome to attend their monthly board meetings in person or via Zoom. If you are interested in joining and you want more information about that, send us a message here on Facebook or on Instagram, and use the acronym AVER, and we will endeavor to get you that information. Now, what's new and interesting about this, the Chicago American Veterans for Equal Rights, is that they focus on many marginalized groups who historically have been, I won't say left out, but ostracized with a lowercase o in the military. For those who haven't served in the military is a how can I put it? It's an organization that traditionally has not been welcoming or friendly to members of the LGBT community. That's putting it mildly. What these folks are doing is, making a space or several spaces for everybody. Okay, so there's no ostracization. No one is left out. And they're focusing on that and making sure that those community members who may have experienced discrimination or are still experiencing discrimination can take part, have fun, and be welcome as well. Now I'm going to read to you the federal evidence agenda on LGBTQ plus and equity. The time is 8:05 a.m. In late January, the White House released the first ever federal evidence agenda on lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex equity, a roadmap that federal agencies will use to ensure they're collecting the data and evidence they need to improve the lives of LGBTQ plus Americans. This evidence agenda delivers on the commitment made by President Biden in a June 2022 executive order on equality and is an important step forward in the administration's work to expand the federal collection of data about sexual orientation, gender identity, and sex characteristics. Wrong sentence there. This builds on efforts by the White House to augment the Census Bureau's American Community Survey with questions about LGBTQ plus Americans, release a survey on the high rates of economic, housing, and food insecurity that those households faced during the COVID-19 pandemic, and offering passports with gender markers and allowing all Americans to accurately provide personal gender identity information on federal forms. Quite significant. So again, this is information that we have. This newsletter is hot off the presses. It literally was printed yesterday. This is good stuff, man. It's called Vet Pride, the American Veterans for Equal Rights, the Chicago, Illinois chapter. If you want more information for this or on this and about this, you can reach out to Good Morning Aurora and we will connect you. Now I'm going to read to you about Jennifer Dane, Executive Director of Modern Military Association of America. As an Air Force veteran, she spearheaded groundbreaking work on changing policy for the LGBT community, advocates for the rights of those discharged under Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and is a Service Leadership Corps and Veteran and Global Leadership Fellow. She served as an intelligence analyst focusing on geopolitical, terrorism, and threat vulnerability issues in the Air Force. She earned her AA degree in intelligence studies from the Community College of the Air Force, her BS degree in criminal justice from Bethel University, and her MA in criminal justice from Arizona State University. Quote, "We've come so far and achieved so much thanks to the selfless advocates who never gave up in their fight to overturn discriminatory policies and ensure today's modern military families have the support they deserve. With so much left to accomplish, I'm proud to lead this organization forward and double down on our incredibly important work to support and defend the LGBTQ military and veteran community." The time is 8:08 a.m. Joe Jackson, good morning. Aisha Saxon, good morning. Allie Hernandez, how about that? That's who sent me this information. You see that? Right? I be telling y'all all the time, Curtis, how do you get such good? And people ask me, like, Curtis, man, where do you get that pertinent information? Because I'm plugged in, man. That's how we do it, dog. Okay. Upcoming events, real quick. I'm going to give you these, and then we will get on to the next portion that we got for you guys. There's a spring fling bingo and egg hunt. You can join Blue Star Families and the American Legion Auxiliary for a fun spring event featuring bingo and an egg hunt at the Forrestal Village Chapel on Saturday, April 1st, noon to 3 p.m. There will be games, prizes, and lunch provided. The chapel is located at 2630 Ohio Avenue, Great Lakes, Illinois. We have the registration as well. Actually, look in that drawer right there, Gabriel. There should be a highlighter. Hand me that highlighter, and I'm going to highlight a couple links for you to put in the chat for these folks. And also, don't forget, there is the third annual Women Veterans Stand Down event. A number of partner organizations will host the event across the state of Illinois on Saturday, March 25th. All women who are currently serving or have served in the U.S. military, Guard, and Reserves are invited to these events. Workshops will be held from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and are focused on the needs of women veterans, including education, employment, healthcare, housing, and legal services. Attendees may choose to attend both sessions. Complimentary food will be provided. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So let me give you guys this here. And the time is 8:10 a.m. Karina Suarez Darden is here. Good morning to you, Karina Suarez Darden. There you go, Gabriel. You can put that highlighted link in the chat for the folks. Let them know what's happening. All right. So a lot of stuff going on. I want to before I get into the next portion here, just want to take a quick moment to give a couple of well-deserved shout-outs to some folks. I want to say good morning to Javier Burgos. Javier Burgos is one of the owners of Java Plus, located at 1677 Montgomery Road. Get to know Java Plus and Javier Burgos. He does a lot for the community. He's also a member of the Aurora Regional Chamber, the Aurora Hispanic. Scratch it up. Let's try that again. He's a member of the Aurora Regional Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and he does a whole lot in the community. Java Plus has become an incubator, indeed a breathing space for a lot of the new people who are coming up with great ideas, new businesses, including worship and church services. Get to know them and let them know you heard about it on Good Morning Aurora. You guys will remember that just last week we interviewed a young man by the name of Thomas Hartnett. He is a church member. I think he's a youth pastor and a teacher, but he's got a musical program that he does for kids. He does a whole lot of good stuff, and he's starting a program called Java Jams featuring the Fox River Academy of Music and Art. That's going to be Sunday, March 12th from 1 to 4 p.m. at Java Plus. I have the flyer right here, as you can see. Now, come on. See that? I mean, right? So there it is. You can go there. He will have equipment there. He's going to have some setup. So if you play guitar or if you play an instrument, you can go there and set your equipment up, and then you can play there, and you can have a good time doing that. Once again, it's called Java Jams featuring the Fox River Academy of Music and Art. All right. I have an extensive list. Extensive. I mean, I got everybody in here. This is look at this. Can y'all see the thickness? Y'all can see that. Damn, he got a whole thing. This is the information for the organizations in the city that have received grant money from social service agencies. But before we get into that, I want to tell you about Maura Hirschauer and her information about the Child Care, Education, Environmental Policy on key committees. Gabriel, if you could take me to a brief commercial while I deliver this piece of information. Norma Peterson is here. Good morning to you, Norma Peterson. Norma Peterson is the Executive Director of Document the Abuse. Get to know the EAA. That's the Evidentiary Abuse Affidavit and its role in helping families and law enforcement. Matthew Orr for 6th Ward Alderman is here. How you doing, Matthew Orr? We were just talking about you this morning. Your ears must have been ringing. That's why you in the chat, big dog. Okay. State Representative Maura Hirschauer will work to improve Illinois' public school system, prioritize affordable child care, and advocate for policies that protect the environment. As a member of crucial House committees focused on education, child welfare, and energy, she will serve as the vice chair of the Child Care Access and Early Childhood Education Committee, where she will focus on bringing quality, affordable child care to Illinois families and supporting the needs of our critical early childhood workforce. Additionally, she will serve on the Budget Committees responsible for Education and Human Services. She will also serve on the Housing Committee and Environment and Energy Committee. Ms. Hirschauer will use her experience as an early childhood educator and first grade teacher to guide her committee work. She will advocate to bring more resources to special education, mental health, and early intervention services to eliminate the ever-widening achievement gap. Now, scratch it up. Let me say to you, Wendy Connell is here. Good morning to you, Wendy Connell. There is a gap. Now, this is a topic where some people don't believe that. There's people out there who don't believe that. They don't believe that. Wait a minute. Are you telling me that some kids are being taught at different levels than others? Are you telling me that there's teachers who prioritize some students over others? That's not true. It is true. Now, there's a lot of factors in that, depending on where you live, perhaps. Maybe the schools in your district struggle with resources and finance and getting qualified educators who are able to do their job with alacrity. That could be. But regardless of what the issue may be, it is important to close that gap. There should not be a gap. There shouldn't be a gap in housing. There shouldn't be a gap in earnings. We already know that women in this country make less than men do on average. There shouldn't be a gap. So we like to highlight the news of people who are working to close that gap. Why am I off a commercial? Thank you, young man. Quote, I am excited to work ahead and look forward to working with my colleagues across the aisle to pass meaningful legislation. Close quote. I know I kind of ranted there, so,
Yeah, I figured it'd be.
It happens. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, some of these people know what's going on with me. They know me. William Miller III, he actually knows me like in person. He knows I'm a weird dude. He spent years listening to me rant on the Metro train every single morning, Monday through Friday. I'm surprised he's even in the chat. This guy, Curtis, will he ever shut up? He's always talking about something crazy like the Battle of Trafalgar or how Dunkin' is better than Starbucks. But I'm glad he's listening. That means he's a true friend. Dan Barrero is here. Good morning to you, Dan Barrero. How you doing? Good to see you, too. Okay, Gabriel Bradford, before I have you take us to news, what do you think about that? What do you think about closing those gaps in achievement? And what do you think about the Education, Environmental, and Policy Committees that State Representative Maura Hirschauer sits on?
I think that's really important because, and somebody taught me this a long time ago, was this difference between equality and equity. And equity is making sure that everyone is met where they're at. So imagine if you're at a baseball game and you're trying to look into the baseball game, but you have to watch over a fence, and you have a kid who's 3 feet tall, someone who's, a teen who's 5 feet, and then somebody who's like 6 foot tall.
Right.
You're gonna need the person who's 3 feet tall. They're not done growing yet, but they're gonna need help. They're gonna need a boost to look over this fence and watch the baseball game.
Right.
So they'll need more supports to get to the same level, same height as the people who are at a different spot. And that's where that's why equity is so important, because it puts everyone on a level playing field. So different people are gonna need more supports than other people. And that's just how it is for a lot of things, because there's for so long, and in a lot of communities, there's been too little resources.
Right.
And so when you come in and you provide these resources, it helps make the gap less. And it's obviously, I think there's unfortunately here in the U.S. there's always been a gap. So having committees like the ones that Maura Hirschauer is on, as well as trying to help prevent that and make that gap even smaller, is so important, because there's a lot of people out there, especially here in Aurora, where getting better representation, getting better programs that are more equitable is so essential to moving towards a better future and especially a more equitable one.
And I have a graphic that will show a good cartoon that will show. You can bring us back, Big Dog. I have a good graphic that'll show that what Gabriel's talking about. So he's mentioning, if the baseball game. When I'll post that picture because it's a really good one. It's about a family watching a baseball game, and it will show you exactly that fairness is not part of it. Nobody's able to watch the game at the same. Nobody's able to see it, and they're behind a fence. It's a really it's a very poignant statement. Okay, now I'm going to give you the information about those grants. So the city of Aurora has, well, rather not the city of Aurora, different councils and what have you. So there's a number of different ways that folks and organizations have been able to receive funds. Some of them have been quality of life grants, CDBG, which is community development block grants. Investor Aurora has, provided funds to different places. There's been a myriad of different ways. Congressman Bill Foster, we detailed just a couple of weeks ago how some of the key places that some of the key places and organizations he was able to provide $3 million in funding for, who they were, where they went to. And then, of course, we recall that there was the Build Back Better funds, which were used for roadways all throughout the state. And then, of course, there was the ARP funds, which was the American Rescue Plan. So there's a whole bunch of monies that have been collected and dispersed. I'm going to tell you about some of the local organizations who have received them and how much they've gotten. The time is 8:20 a.m. So Aurora City Council members meeting as the committee of the whole have considered more than $1 million worth of these quality of life grants for social service agencies, more than $100,000 above what was given out last year. So just last week, Public Health, Safety, and Transportation recommended grants, which are largely funded by gaming taxes from the Hollywood Casino. Gaming taxes. Quality of life grants are given to organizations that provide for youth. Scratch it up. I can't believe I just did that. That's not even nowhere near that. If you guys are reading what I'm reading, it's like, how did he mess that up? That's way down here. Anyway, I got 4 eyes and I still missed it. Let's try that again. Quality of life grants are given to organizations that provide for Aurora citizens in the areas of basic needs, community education, and youth mental health, museums, and services for seniors. The largest number of grants proposed to be awarded by category is 17 in the area of education and youth programs. There are 7 in community development programs, 5 covering basic needs, 4 each in the areas of mental health and senior services, and 2 of them are museum grants. City officials have said the committee looks at, quote, many factors, close quote, when considering awarding the grants, including the ability to serve Aurora residents, past performance by the organization, and whether the organization is considered in good standing. Scratch it up. Now, this good standing thing, right? If you recall, Gabriel, remember we were talking about the, we weren't talking, we were simply reading the news, the food trucks.
Yes, I do remember that conversation. Yeah, we were talking about the food truck festival.
Right. So the whole thing about the food trucks, this was a few months ago now. This was in like November. The whole thing with the food trucks was food trucks were too close to brick and mortar restaurants. Some of the restaurants were starting to complain about it, like, yo, I'm trying to sell food and you got the food truck out here like taking away people. So one of the things that they started doing was looking at zoning them, how we can get them away, but still have them in the mix, and also licenses and who's in good standing. Are you in good standing? Are you paid up? Are you squared away by the health department? All of those things matter. You gotta be squared away. Anyway, the specific grants proposed to be awarded include $25,000 to Fox Valley United Way for Spark, an early childhood program. Spark is fantastic. Great organization. $5,000 to the Indian Prairie Educational Foundation for the Kids Essentials Program, $20,000 to Loaves and Fishes for emergency assistance, $25,000 to the Marie Wilkinson Food Pantry for the community growing food needs. They also have the garden. They got the community garden out there. And $20,000 to the YWCA for the Early Childhood Emergency Fund Project. All of those were in the category labeled as basic needs. Now, when I read that part, that last part right there, all of those were in the category labeled as basic needs. That made me happy. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, what were we talking about?
Awesome.
Kids Essentials, right? Loaves and Fishes, right? Spark, basic need. Exactly.
Like,
that's what I'm talking about. It's a basic need, right?
Is pretty awesome because there's few organizations that do the work that these people are doing.
Right.
So getting that funding is essential because even if you look at like food pantries, I feel like you can take a food pantry as a metric for the needs of the community. If you were to spend an evening volunteering at a food pantry, you'll see and talk with people who are in need of certain items.
Right.
Like, big need you'll hear about is basic things like hygiene products. So diapers, formula.
Right.
Like basic things like deodorant or all those personal care products. That is a basic need that
right.
very few people talk about when they say, oh, I'm helping people. Well, food is good. Food is great. But then for a lot of people, having food is one level of basic needs, but also taking care of personal hygiene is another level that isn't as talked about in the community. But when you're housing insecure, you're trying to pay bills. You're not going to be working on the other things. And a lot of people, they cover the food.
Right.
But they don't cover essentials such as childcare, such as personal care items. So that's amazing that they get that.
Victoria Hyla Maldonado, good morning to you. Annie Kinsley is here. Good morning to you, Annie Kinsley. And Aisha, hello there. All right. Now, in the category labeled as community, the grants proposed are $25,000 to the Aurora Area Interfaith Food Pantry. You guys watched your brother. It went down the wrong pipe. Does that ever happen to anybody? You're drinking water, something that goes right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
that's the first time it ever happened on air. I've been doing this for 3 years coming up. It's the first time ever happened on air. I know they like, Curtis, don't die.
Yeah, I was about to say, hey, I just got trained on like CPR and stuff, so I got the Heimlich maneuver. I got you. We'll be doing CPR live on air.
Man, we so dedicated to the news. We will. Hey, man, we're choking to get it out. Where the hell was I? Okay, let's do that again. In the category labeled as community, the grants proposed are $25,000 for the Aurora Area Interfaith Food Pantry for the holiday food distribution, $12,000 for the Fox Valley Music Foundation for the Big Band Student Jazz Fest, $5,000 to the Fox Valley Special Recreation Foundation for Soothe Space, and $15,000 for Hope for Tomorrow for homeless men's and veterans recovery home programs. $15,000 to Ladder Up for income tax preparation and financial support services for low-income residents. $15,000 for Lewis Simmons Foundation for the Building Strong Blocks Workforce Momentum Program, and $15,000 to the Quad County Urban League for the Economic Empowerment Center. I love to hear it. Now, you will recall that just last week we had the Quad County Urban League back on the show. We had my friend Katrina Henderson. She was sitting right here where I am. And she talked about the Career Accelerator grants, of which we have that information. I will have Gabriel put that link in the chat for you guys a little bit later. But look, man, there is no shortage, or rather are. What kind of English was that, Curtis? There are no shortage of organizations who are trying to do the most for the least among us, the least of our brethren, right? Which is what we should all be doing. I like to see them getting funds that they need to move things forward. I love it. Love to see it. The next category is the category of education and youth. The proposed grants are $15,000 to the African American Men in Unity for Jobs for Youth Internship Program and Rites of Passage Mentoring Program, $11,500 for Agape for the Sankofa Saturday School of History, Culture, and Creativity. $11,500 to the Alive Teen Center for a teen-initiated drop-in program. And $3,000 to the Aurora Stars for 2023 Aurora Stars teams. Gabriel Bradford, what do you think about that? The time is 8:28.
I think that's all really amazing. I love to hear about these local community organizations that are doing an amazing job to help people out, especially people with job training, career placement. Those are all essential programs. Like, a lot of people talk about, like, oh, it's not essential. Well, it is essential. Getting a job, especially getting a job right out of high school or even during high school, is one of the most important things you can do. Or even starting your business. Hey, I mean, everyone's got to do their thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think just getting that in there, getting that work ethic, very important. I mean, I started working well before I was 15. I used to do lawn care, so I would actually take care of people's lawns. Believe it or not, that was me a couple years ago. It was like 4 years ago.
Everybody did that.
I mean, yeah, like
everybody did that.
Exactly.
Let me ask. You know what? Here's what we're gonna do. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. If anybody, Tracy Duran, she's here. Good morning to you, Tracy Duran. Victoria, Wendy, if you ever had to cut lawns for money, why don't you go ahead and put a green heart in the chat? If you ever did any kind of if you ever did anything lawn related for money, put a green heart in the chat. I'll put a green heart right now for myself. Where's the green heart emoji? There it is. See? I'll start it off. I'll be first. Okay. Next we got, you can bring me on for this one, Big Dog. Also, $15,000 to Boys Baseball of Aurora for the 2023 Boys Baseball of Aurora Summer and Fall Sessions. $10,000 to the Boys and Girls Club of Elgin for an after-school youth development program. $290,000 for communities and schools for a comprehensive services program. $20,000 to the Fox Valley Park District for Sports Saturday. $15,000 to the Girl Scouts of Northern Illinois for Project Opportunity Aurora. And $3,000 to Imperfect Angels for a youth advancement program. Now, Imperfect Angels, where have I heard that from? I think they sent us an email once upon a time. I got to look back at that. Imperfect Angel. I think they showed up in our inbox or something. I got to look at that. Next, $25,000 to the Marie Wilkinson Child Development Center for the Child Care and Youth Before and After School Care Program. Let me highlight that because I'm going to reach out to Marie Wilkinson's Food Pantry. If you don't know, Marie Wilkinson's Food Pantry and Good Morning Aurora are like this, bruh. We are dear friends. I'm going to holler at that. Maybe that's something we can bring the camera to and peep.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
$20,000 to the Northern Illinois Food Bank for the Backpack Program. $20,000 to Simply Destiny for its Seeds program. $5,000 to the START program for its 3F program. $15,000 to Wayside Cross Youth Services Program for its 2023 Urban Youth Ministry Academic Enrichment and Youth Leadership Development Programs. $15,000 to the Wheatland Athletic Association, and that's for their fee assistance and scholarship program, and $11,800 to World Relief for Immigrant and Refugee Youth Services. The time is 8:32 a.m. You are listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. Gabriel, would you take us to a commercial and please give us like 2 or 3 joints in there? And one of them, if I'm not mistaken, there is we got World Relief in the news.
Yes, we do.
And then we have the link for their services. So out of the 3 topics, pick 3 news articles, make that one of them, and then deliver that link in the chat for these wonderful people. Young man, I appreciate it.
Yes. So we do have World Relief. You can learn English with World Relief.
Look at all those green hearts, though. Hold on. My bad. Michael Rayford. Yes, hi, Joe Jackson. Oh, Wendy Connell said green heart, can't find the emoji. It's all good. And Wendy, we got that League of Women Voters information too for today. Time is 8:33. I didn't even cut you off, Big Dog. Go ahead.
Oh, that's all good. I'm
looking room for them green hearts. Though.
Yeah. I'm looking at the chat here. We have a lot of people who've done lawn care.
Everybody. Michael Rayford, where your green heart? Oh, he got it. There it is.
Yeah,
yeah. Michael Rayford, my bad.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I mean, I remember when I was doing that, it's people underestimate how much work goes into lawn care. when I first started doing it, I was very surprised. I'll just say that. Like, to make a lawn look good, it takes a lot of work. Anyone with a lawn knows that. So you can learn English with World Relief by registering and enrolling in classes. Free English classes for immigrants are available. You can learn in person and online. You can scan the QR code on the flyer, which will be posted, or call 630-888-0023. Again, that number to call is 630-888-0023 with any questions. You can also register, and we'll be posting the link in the chat. And our friend of the show, Michael Rayford, has a coat drive going on this Saturday, February 11th. And it's the AEF 2023 coat drive. The drop-off location is Java Plus, located at 1677 Montgomery Road. Socks, blankets, coats, and other helpful warming items are greatly appreciated. For questions or more information, contact our friend Michael Rayford at 630-569-3734. Again, that number is 630-569-3734. And Saturday, February 18th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., there will be a great seminar and workshop taking place at Cotton Creative Exchange. That's at 64 South River Street in downtown Aurora. Join our friends of Duarte Realty Company, the Federal Savings Bank, and the Aurora Financial Empowerment Center to learn more about steps to home ownership. This will be a helpful event. For more information, call or text 331-999-2498. Again, that number is 331-999-2498.
Wonderful. The time is 8:35 a.m. You're listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. Tracy Duran says, I did lawn care for my parents, but for room and board at home when I was a teenager. Never got paid, but was really proud of the work I put into it. You know, yeah, I used to hate doing it until I learned, like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wake up and do it early. I'm going to do it early and just get it done. And then it became kind of fun. Michael Rayford says, jobs are cool when you are young, but we need to teach our kids how to earn money and not be just an employee. That's a fact. Gloria Gerardo is here. Good morning to you, Gloria Gerardo. Yeah, that's a fact. But Michael also said he did it for the Park District until I drove a riding mower into the Fox.
Well, we gotta.
I see you changed jobs, didn't you?
Yes, I'm sure after that must have.
That was a good one.
That was good.
Nice. All right. Time is 8:36. As I mentioned, so we still got some more organizations to go through, and the reason why, or one of the reasons why we're doing this, is because A, I want to shine a light on all the organizations who need your help and my help. B, I want to shine a light on the funds that are needed to get organizations done. People think it's an easy thing. Oh, they got money. No, they don't. It takes funds to do things, ladies and gentlemen. It takes a lot. Staff, hours, timesheets, supplies. Do you know how much? Do you know how? Let me tell you something. A lot of you guys who know me personally, you guys know that I used to run that escape room for 3 years. Do you know how much a case of toilet paper is? So, cases of toilet paper, bottles of water from the Elger thing, the big water cooler.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Do you know how much that's not cheap? That's not cheap. So, I mean, these people aren't burning the money. In the category of mental health, the proposed grants are $5,000 to Changing Children's World for the Best Start for Aurora Families program, $10,000 to Fox Valley Hands of Hope for its community grief counseling. That is an important organization and an initiative. What they do is, typically in the summertime, that's when I've seen every one of their, for those who've experienced the loss of a family member, they get together and they take them out for a day of talking and counseling with each other, and they provide lunch as well. $10,000 to the Judah Robinson Foundation for its homeless mental health intervention program, and $15,000 to NAMI of Kane, DeKalb, and Kendall, better known as NAMI KDK, for programs to remove barriers to meet the service gap of mental health services. In the museums category, grants proposed are $62,000 $52,500 to the Aurora Historical Museum and $52,500 to the Aurora Regional Fire Museum. In the category for seniors, the proposed grants are $25,000 to the DuPage Senior Citizens Council for Meals on Wheels. Very important. Extremely important. Right? Think about it. Community dining, drive-through food events, and well-being checks. $25,000 to the Northern Illinois Food Bank Seniors for its senior grocery program, $9,000 to Riverwalk Adult Day Services for adult daycare, and $15,000 to Zillen for managing aging life. Gabriel Bradford, what do you think about that?
I think it's honestly great that all these community organizations are receiving.
Take this one back.
Receiving grant dollars. Again, it's always good to see these community organizations get the support that they need. I know it's not cheap running not-for-profits. I mean, like Curtis said, it's really people underestimate the cost of these things, like paper towels, like cups,
right.
Even the randomest things. Like just the other day, we found a need at my work, the Alive Center. We found that a lot of our teens don't like wearing shoes at the Alive Center. I know. Yeah. So we got ourselves a shoe rack so teens can place their shoes on, keep it neat, and we don't have shoes all around the space.
I mean, I'm not wearing my shoes right now, so I ain't tripping.
See,
anybody who if you've been in this studio, you know Curtis is not wearing his shoes when I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing shoes when I do this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so that's see that's the thing. Like
quality of life.
It's quality of life. Like, you know, it's one of those things where expenses come up and things that are nice to have. So these grants are really helpful when it comes to providing essential services and sometimes even just fun things like now we have a shoe rack for shoes and like different things like that where it's not essential, but it's still really nice to have because it's a need that people have or a preference that they have. So it's
that's the thing that has, and that's, you know, because we don't just do things on it. There's a purpose why I'm reading this. That's the thing that's kind of always rankled me a little bit. When people like those statements like, why can't they just, right? Why don't they just? Why don't you just? Rent, supplies, payroll, insurance. You can't just anything if you were running.
No, you can't.
Just, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You can't just do anything. Similarly, if cities were just giving money, where would that money go? How do you account for it? Is there reporting? You know, it costs to report.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think a combination of explaining the rigors, indeed the sausage making of what it takes to run an organization. There should be a class on that. Like they should teach children financial literacy when they're kids.
Yeah.
But they should also teach them like, yo, here's what your boss goes through to pay you. You know what I'm saying? Like here. Like,
oh yeah. Yeah.
Now you got a terrible boss. That's one thing. But I'm just saying the basic tenets of being an employee and having the employee-employer relationship in business will stand you in good stead in life.
Yeah.
The time is 8:42.
I definitely agree. I think that's something that as I've learned more about business and what it takes to run, you know, non-for-profits and for-profit businesses, is that a lot of the time we don't understand how they work.
Right.
Until we're actually in one or we're helping lead one, you know, we're building our own businesses or we're building our own organizations where, you know, I've had multiple groups where I've come in and there's been nothing.
Right.
Like there's the people who were there before us, it been, you know, like since COVID, for example, most community organizations kind of had like a restart due to COVID.
Right,
so
right. Yep.
There was the lockdown, so nobody could go outside. You couldn't meet. Zoom was an option in some cases. So for some organizations that I've had the opportunity to lead, we've had to build something from the ground up.
Right.
And so understanding the basics of even just how burnout happens, how, especially like as an employer or, you know, leader, I have to understand that, right? Like,
right.
And so that's the thing where when you get to understand that, then it's a lot easier to be a worker or a business owner or anything like that. It's put me in good stead where I've been able to understand a lot better
Right.
how intricate and complex it is. And I think Michael Rayford put in the chat, he said Rich Dad Poor Dad.
That's a good
That's
book.
Oh, shout outs. That's really good. Robert Kiyosaki, he's one of the authors for Rich Dad Poor Dad. That is one of the foundational books that I read about business. That was like one of the, after The Art of War by Sun Tzu, that was like the second book I read about business.
Well, The Art of War
is more.
It's not.
It's a business
it can apply
classic.
to business though.
It
Oh
is,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, you can use that for anything.
It was a business classic.
But yeah, that's a good book too.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
You know what's funny? I'll tell you about that book. I found 3 books that have been life changers in like the 50-cent dollar bin.
Oh yeah.
Somebody threw it away. It was Sun Tzu, Art of War, How to Make Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie Jr.
Oh yeah.
Which is if you can hear the sound of my voice and you're between the age of 10 and 20, you need to read that book and hurry up and read it.
It is the best book ever.
And then the last book I found in like the dollar bin was Boss, which is about Mayor Daley Sr.
Okay.
And the author escapes me at the moment. I gave that book to Frank Patterson. I don't think he gave it back yet. Shout out to Frank Patterson. He's a great reporter for The Voice here in Aurora. Okay, take me to a commercial so I can finish this. Norma Peterson's here. Oh, she's already been here. My bad. I'm just seeing you, right? A classic. You guys know me. Sometimes I get caught up in what I'm doing. Okay. Grants are also proposed for Rita's ministry. $22,000 towards its prisoner reentry programs, and AID Victim Services, $97,000 for its victim and outreach services. Scratch it. Here's the thing about both of those organizations. According to Sheriff Ron Hain and Jamie Monster, who you know we have a great partnership and working relationship with, remember, 85% of the people who are incarcerated will return to where they're from in the average of 5 years. We're not talking about serious criminals here. People for DUI, all kind of stuff. People get locked up for all kind of things. But they are coming back. And what will be their lot when they do? It costs like $30,000 to house an inmate in America.
Yeah, it's really expensive.
And AID Victim Services, get to know AID. Shout out to Lori Baker and all of our dear friends with AID. They're doing incredible work for our community. The time is 8:46. This day went by quick. What the? Damn. This day went by like quicker than ever. Also recommended are about $2.3 million in community development block grant funding, money the city receives from the federal government each year. The city gets about $1.5 million each year, but had some left over for a total of about $2.3 million this year. The amount and category listed for the proposed block grant awards are $390,000 for administration and contingency, $663,750 for community development, $500,000 for neighborhood revitalization, $435,000 for housing projects, and $306,215 for public service projects, $390,000 for I can't see what this says. It says administration and something. The top of this is cut off. You know, I'm not going to name him right now. That would be bogus. He's got to get his printing skills up. See? You know, training, right?
Oh, yep. Yes, it's all about training.
The about $2.3 million proposed to be awarded is out of about $2.6 million worth of requests. Wow. That's a lot, man.
Yeah,
that is a lot. That is a lot. All right, now moving on to, so there's that information, ladies and gentlemen. This article came out just yesterday in the Beacon News, so you can check it out for your own pleasure. I will also put the link to that in the chat so you guys can see what we're talking about and also see the organizations and the monies that they have requested. Okay. The first ever Mr. and Mrs. Black Aurora were crowned over the weekend at Copley Theater. Wabansie Valley High School senior Peter Etta and East Aurora High School junior Charity Cocroft were the winners of the inaugural Mr. and Mrs. Black Aurora pageant for Aurora High School students, sponsored by the Aurora African American Heritage Advisory Board. Squared away. Look at that. They look good. They look good. Now, their picture is on the Aurora African American Heritage Facebook page. They really look good. And I have to say, I didn't think I was going to see a tie that's better than mine right now, but Mr. Peter Etta, he's killing it with that tie, man. That's a nice suit combination, young man. A total of 8 students, 3 males and 5 females, competed in 3 categories, including fashion, talent, and public speaking. A press release from the city of Aurora said that Cocroft plays the saxophone in the band and is a member of the National Honor Society. During the talent portion of the event, she played "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" on the saxophone.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Can you feel the love tonight? I know y'all don't want to hear me talk. You want news.
I'm telling you, we got to do a record label. Good Morning Aurora, the record.
Right. Facts.
That'd be awesome.
ETA is ETA. Scratch it up. Etta, my bad. Etta is president of the National Society of Black Engineers Junior Chapter and a poet who performed an original poem at the pageant. Clayton Muhammad, Chief Communications and Equity Officer for the City of Aurora, said the contest could have far-reaching effects. Upon announcing the news about the pageant, he said the first call he got, quote, was from the Puerto Rican pageant coordinator asking that we get our queens together, close quote. We understand the identity, representation, and culture are important, hands down. From a cultural perspective, we can see from those of other races that have led parades or whatever that represented their heritage. When the African American Heritage Advisory Board looked at impact for the year, things have been kind of quiet through COVID. We've gone through an extreme period with George Floyd until today, with Tyree Nichols and so others. Look at race in a more comprehensive format, and the board asks, what else can we do to provide a platform for black students? Mr. Muhammad said one of the board members gave an example of a local graduate who went on to become a successful attorney, who said when she was young to want to be in pageants, but there weren't any opportunities for her. Wow. It's very germane to historical black colleges and universities and germane to many black fraternities and sororities. So those who have gone through the college experience are very familiar with these type of pageants. Bringing it to the high school level connects them as well to the bigger college experience. The goal, according to officials, quote, was to highlight the achievements, particularly of black youth, something that the Aurora African American Heritage Advisory Board, which has been in existence for nearly 20 years, works to achieve. Gabriel Bradford, what do you... Oh, wait, hold on. Also, according to the press release from the city, the first official duty of the pageant winners will be to... they accepted the city's Black History Month proclamation. They will also have the honor of raising the Juneteenth flag during the ceremony hosted by the city later this year. Gabriel Bradford, what do you think about that?
I think that's honestly amazing. I love the work that Ahab does. I know they did a great event with the city of Aurora during the MLK Day celebration. That was a lot of the work that was done there was due to the Aurora
Monday, January 16th.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So it's, a lot of the work that was done there was due to the Aurora African American Advisory Board. So it was really cool event. But yeah, so I'm really excited to see that pageant. When I first heard about it, I thought it was amazing. And again, it was a sold out event. I think that should be mentioned. This event sold out in under 2 hours.
Really?
Yeah. So the tickets became available on like Saturday morning, like the week before the pageant. So the pageant was, I think it was last week, if I remember right. And yeah, tickets, it was like 8. I think they became available at 8 o'clock. They were sold out by like 10 o'clock. So it was, or 12. It was really, really amazing to see that type of response from the community, especially for a community event. So it was amazing. And I'm really excited for both of the people who won. I think it's a great opportunity for them to elevate their voices, especially youth voices. I think that's very important.
Sussa Cynthia Carolyn, good morning. And Maria Chirito, good morning. No, it is important. It is very much so. I was going to actually, that reminded me The last piece of news that I had for you guys, take me to a commercial real quick as I looked that up. Okay, the League of Women Voters. Hang on a second. I got information about our friends of the League of Women Voters. Oh, look at that. Beth is here. Hosel Holmes, give back. Hi, Curtis. I hope you're doing well. Let's read this. Let's read my email online with everybody. I'm dying today. I wanted to get in touch with you guys, see if Neighbor Project has any hands-on work we can do sometime in 20. Do we? I'll be right in touch with you. Our friends of Hosel Homes are here, powered by Keller Williams Inspired. Get to know them. Their team is great. Chris Wallace, Krista Mabry, Chris DeBao, Beth, Katie, Lori, and Siri. You'll see more of them. They've been on our show before, so we will definitely get in touch with them. Okay, that's what it is. So tonight there is the forum for 6th Ward aldermen. They are all getting together. This is going to be hosted by the League of Women Voters of the Aurora area. It begins tonight at 6:30 p.m. on their Facebook page and on their website. It will be live. The time to submit questions has already passed, but please tune in. There's a number of candidates who are running for 6th Ward aldermen. So tune into that tonight and get to learn more about them and what they stand for. Listen to their answers on the forum. As you know, a forum is different than a debate. The questions are asked, topics are discussed, and it's a lot. It's far less, perhaps, contentious is the word I'll use than debates typically have the opportunity to be. So get to know them, and if you can, hand me that ARM flyer right there. Thank you very much. Here's where we're going to end it. 8:55. Oh my goodness. After school programs, learn, explore, and create. Get to know our friends of the at-risk mentoring. Their new location is the community center of Hometown, 1002 Four Seasons Boulevard. Grades 1st through 8th, Monday through Thursday, 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. Homework help, improved grade and test scores, academic enrichment, intentional life skills, and mentoring. Sign up today. This is brought to us by At-Risk Mentoring, City of Aurora Youth Services, and the African American Men of Unity. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Okay. Well, Josue Pais is here. Good morning to you, Josue Pais. Good morning, y'all. I'm sorry I'm late, but what did I miss? Man, you missed everything, big dog. You missed everything. No, you know what, Jose, you didn't miss nothing. Well, that's the benefit of Spotify. Follow Good Morning Aurora on Spotify. You can hear all the episodes, man. You can get Bill Foster. You can get Barb Hernandez. You can get everybody we've ever interviewed on our Spotify. So subscribe to Good Morning Aurora on Spotify. Get your listen on. Subscribe to the show on YouTube. We need YouTube subscribers. We need like 700 more subscribers. So help us get there. And I hope that all of you guys can, enjoy what we're doing here. We endeavor, indeed, we strive hard daily to do our very best to connect you, the listener, with all of the people who are doing great things in the city, services, initiatives, programs. If it can help a human, you will hear about it here on Good Morning Aurora. In addition to that, I would implore you to vote. Early voting is open right now for the primaries February 28th for the local elections here, and I think April 6th is the election day.
April 4th.
Is it the 4th?
It's the 4th, yeah.
Okay, word up. So yeah, get to know who's running, what they stand for. The Kane County Government Voting Center is right around the corner from us, 5 East Downer Place, Suite A. And if you go down there and vote, you are 42 feet away from Good Morning Aurora. Gabriel, did we forget anything?
Let's see. I think we talked a lot about the news, about what's going on here in Aurora. Let's see. Yeah, I think we discussed most things. Looking forward to having some more exciting interviews that are in the works right now.
Absolutely. We got some things cooking right now, so stay tuned. I think that the next couple of weeks, you guys will love who we've got coming on the show. We'll show you guys some interesting things, and also get prepared. Good Morning Aurora is going to break new ground. Our 3-year anniversary will be this year. The party is yet TBD. We hope you guys can all come out and celebrate us. So good things are cooking. So keep your eyes peeled because Good Morning Aurora will be doing far more here in 2023. The time is 8:58 a.m. I hope you all have a great day, a blessed day, a helpful day, and a positive day. And we'll see you Friday. That's it. Take care of yourself and each other.